Hey folks, John Najarian here for the Rebel's Edge, and we're down here at our Mastermind in Aventura, Florida, the Hilton at Aventura. We've got a sold out Mastermind, and what we're going to do quickly with you, because we have the Mastermind in there, is we're going to describe exactly our reactions to Ukraine, Russia, and some earnings. We have all that for you on the Rebel's Edge. Bang! Hey folks, welcome back. I think you recognize both of these guys, Justin Nugent, Pete Najarian. I'm John Najarian. Welcome to the Rebel's Edge. Special edition because A, we're here at the Mastermind, as I've said already, down here in Aventura, Florida. We just finished the first ever 10X Wealth Conference with 1,400 people over at the Turnberry Resort.
That was awesome.
That was pretty special with Grant Cardone and everybody, right, Pete?
Oh, that was killer. It's absolutely killer. I tell you, everybody was so excited. I've never been to a conference ever that had the kind of excitement we had there. Gary Cohen was the greatest ever. I mean, that guy's phenomenal. We've always liked him anyway. He was even better in person, just watching him, and the excitement from everybody wanting to learn more, understand the options market, the stock market, just a little bit more. Is it rigged? Maybe a little bit, but we know a way to get around that a little bit. So it was exciting.
Yeah, truly. And folks, we know that there's some headlines that none of us can ignore today. And those are, of course, Ukraine getting the go-ahead from Joe Biden to send long-range U.S. missiles into Russia for whatever reason, because I'm not a warmonger. I'm not a big fan, and I don't like teasing the dragon, but you got to trade the market you got, not the one you want. And right now, I think, guys, you want to keep a close eye on ag stocks, the agricultural stocks. Why? Well, because Ukraine still is one of the bread baskets of the world. So keep a close eye on that. A lot of the nutrients that go into fertilizers and so forth, also out of Russia and Ukraine. And then you've got, of course, the war machine. You know, you got to think, Pete, that we're going to see Raytheon, RTN, General Dynamics, GD, AVAV with these switchback drones and all the rest.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we're looking at because this probably shocked us just a little bit, I would say, when we woke up this morning. And there's a reason why the market's down, call it 400 points on the Dow. There's a lot of things that are going on right now. I think the most important thing also from a trading perspective is volatility. We talk about the VIX all the time. We got all the way down into the 13s. Now here we are, call it 17, maybe a little bit more than that. Something to keep a really close eye on. And is 50 Cent going to step in at some point too? Is he going to, are we going to see some of that? I was with the rapper the other night, but this is a different 50 Cent here.
Justin, I know you had on 3 at 3 yesterday, Walmart and some others. Maybe give us a little flavor of, even on a down 400 day, the numbers were so good out of Walmart that we got a little pop, right?
Yeah, exactly. This was at the end of last week. We had some Walmart UOA. We knew it was probably targeting earnings. That's what we talked about. They did pop. They popped about 4%. And just like we were talking about before this, we'd probably be up a lot more if what was going on wasn't going on today, unfortunately. Also, though, saw some Target UOA at the same time as that. Target reports tomorrow. That's something I would keep an eye on.
That's exactly where I was going to go, is what does this mean to Target? Because what they were talking about with Walmart that made it so interesting to me was they were talking about the outlook and how strong it is, and the fact that, hey, it's not just groceries. We all know this. That's the biggest problem for Walmart versus Target has been they're bigger into the grocery market. Well, they're starting to say it's not just groceries. People are buying other parts of the rest of everything in Walmart. And if that's true, what does that mean for Target? What does it mean for any of the competitors that are out there right now if they're keeping a lot of the clientele because of the fact that it's not just about groceries anymore?
Yeah, and boy, we've got Nvidia earnings coming our way, not tonight after the close, tomorrow, the 20th after the close. That'll be potentially market moving, maybe as much as these missiles back and forth from Ukraine and Russia. And I do mean that, not from a human standpoint, folks, of course. Don't read into that John doesn't care about people. But I think we're going to see a market reaction, Pete, if it's soft, and it rarely is,
right,
with Nvidia. I mean, Mr. Huang or Huang, or however I pronounce his name. I'm going to butcher it no matter what, folks.
He's good at that.
I'm good at butchering that. It's because of the dyslexia, I think, or at least part of it. But he has earnings after the bell tomorrow. That is one of the most watched earnings reports. It used to be Apple, guys, and a little bit Tesla. Now I think it's Nvidia.
Yeah, by the way, Jensen Huang, but let's just call him Jensen.
Jensen, I can say that.
That's going to be a monster number because Nvidia has absolutely taken the crown away from Apple, in my opinion. That's happened probably longer than a year ago. Apple's still obviously Apple, but Nvidia, that is a market mover, and that does move the entire market oftentimes, especially when you look at the semiconductor world, all the connections there. This is going to be a really big report, and we've gotten through the majority. I think it's 92% of the earnings have been reported. Well, the trail, it's right now because it's going to be Nvidia tomorrow night.
Now, two quick questions to you both. I'll start with Justin Nugent. So, Justin, we've got earnings. We've got missiles flying around. We've seen volatility pop to as high as 18 in the pre-market today, eased back down to about 1670, I think, just minutes ago. And my question to you is, with the unknowns that are out there, do you think we see maybe a pop over 20 pretty quickly, depending on, not just the earnings out of Nvidia, but what's going on between Ukraine and Russia?
Well, here's why options are amazing, because yes, I think that's absolutely possible. I wouldn't be risking a whole lot on it, but it's absolutely worth a hedge. VIX is not super expensive here, and with Nvidia and that news, I think that's very, very, very possible. One more thing I would just note, this was mentioned on yesterday's Rebels Edge as well. Nvidia is now in all three of the big indices. It's in the Dow, it's in the NASDAQ, it's in the S&P. Huge, huge impact.
Yep.
It's going to be not only a monster impact, but I think that when you look at the volatility index, I would not be shocked at all, John, that we get over 20. Just because of the fact that all of what's going on right now, I'm actually surprised we haven't already gotten over 20. It doesn't mean it's an absolute, but I wouldn't be shocked at all to see it get up and over 20, maybe not sustain over 20, but I think based upon all of the different factors that we're talking about today with Ukraine, obviously the Nvidia earnings, and what we're seeing out of Walmart, there's a lot of things going on that are going to move the markets, and I think 20 is not unrealistic at all for the volatility index.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noted in my career, folks, is when you think the VIX should be significantly higher than it is, and it's not because you've got some forces that are either A, taking profits, or B, trying to hold it back because they're willing to sell calls, which would be knocking the value of those calls down. And if the index itself doesn't drop, then that means the vol is dropping. I think it could be a coiled spring. I think if it pops on, again, most likely Russia, Ukraine, but you could throw Nvidia in there. If it pops, it could go well through 20. I'm not saying 30 or 40.
It could
I'm
hit
saying,
30.
yeah, I'm saying, don't be surprised if we wake up one day and it's 28 to 30. I think somewhere in that range. But first it's got to get over 20. And then if it's, running to the upside, there's nobody that has a supply that's going to be selling up there.
That's exactly right. It's going to be a wild time, I think, in the market. Obviously, we haven't seen anything like this in forever, it feels like. But major events, certainly we have seen many major events. And at some point, this could turn things into a very volatile market, much more than we are right now. So to your point, John, it's why I put up my fingers with 3. I think 30 wouldn't be shocking under the right circumstances, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, Justin, do you have any other unusual activity you were watching today, really?
No, but I would just say, remember during that last volatility cycle, how many times we came up and tagged 20, just to corroborate everything that these guys are saying. It's absolutely possible.
And when you see that coiled spring, folks, that is something you pay attention to. And like I said, if we pop through 20, I think you could easily see people chasing it towards Pete's number, towards 30, and then obviously 50 Cent and all the big vol players come in and they start selling and knock it back down to 20 very quickly. So if you're smart enough, lucky enough to catch it in the low or in the high teens right now, say 16, 17, and you get that pop, my trading would tell me I'm going to take that pop and sell into it because I think it's very short-lived volatility up that high if we go there. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Remember, 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the Rebels Edge is our usual time. We're doing a special today from down here at the Mastermind in Aventura, Florida. We hope you stay safe and make some money today.